You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Asking me lovingly to come and follow you. Here I am. Did I hear you call my name?
Good morning. This is Sister Lavina Francis Pamet. I'm a Franciscan Sister of the Sacred Heart. This is Dare to Love show. It's a program that cultivates vocation awareness in the Archdiocese of Chicago through our discussion of topics related to vocation discernment and vocation awareness promotion. Dare to Love is monthly during 8 o'clock Thursday, the first Thursday of the month, through WNDC AM 750. And today we have a guest. His name is John Siyumbu with the Maryknoll Fathers and Brothers. And John joins us today from Hyde Park in CTU, the Catholic Theological Union. He is right now waiting for 3 weeks before a break. Good morning, John.
Good morning, sister. It's good to be here.
And we've been earlier just having a little conversation. The Maryknolls have been very active in the community and internationally. And I continue to learn about the Maryknoll community. Greg Darr, who lives in the Minnesota area, is currently the vocation director, and that's how I got connected with John. So, John, why don't you just talk a little bit more about yourself, maybe give us a little bit more background, where you're coming from, what you've been up to. And then I know last month you had a very, very special occasion. So why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, sure, sister. So just like sister said, my name is John Siyumbu. I'm from Kenya. Kenya is a country in East Africa. I'm currently preparing for ordination to the Catholic priesthood. I'm studying at the Catholic Theological Union as part of my preparation. By God's grace and mercy, last month I was ordained to the diaconate, and it's been a journey full of confirmation, full of graces from God that have come to my life through very many people across our planet, from East Africa all the way to South America, and now here in North America.
And how did you meet the Maryknolls?
Okay, sister, are you sure? How many minutes do we have? 180?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I met the Maryknoll Fathers and Brothers when I joined university back in my country. Mm-hmm. The chaplain at the university that I joined, Kenyatta University in the capital of Kenya in Nairobi, was a Maryknoll chaplain at that time. And that's how I first came in contact with the Maryknoll Fathers and Brothers.
Now, I heard that at that time, there are a lot of lay Maryknoll missioners, but you didn't just want to join them as a lay missioner. You really wanted to become one of either, I don't know if, did you want to be a brother right away or a priest right away? Or did you know what that vocation was calling you to?
So maybe backtracking a bit, I remember the earliest time I felt called to the priesthood was on the occasion of my confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
I was 13 years old at that time. And back at home, confirmation's a big things. We're talking about a 5-hour event, something like that. So after all that time, the bishop was speaking to our parents, and my mother was standing behind me. My mother, my dad. I was confirmed with my two sisters, Nelly and Jiska. So we were really exhausted. Everyone was exhausted. We just wanted to go home. And the bishop, was speaking to our parents, and he said to our parents, look, I don't have priests, and we don't have enough nuns and priests in our diocese. Please raise your kids so that we can have priests and sisters in our diocese. And I looked up to my mother. I was really small back then. I said, nah, Mama, so in my language, I would like to be a priest. And my mother looked down and said, we'll wait and see. I was 13 years old. It was on the occasion of my confirmation. So I knew I've always felt called to the priesthood. But it's not until I got to university and I met Father Lance that I felt the calling to a missionary priesthood. Thanks to the example of Father Lance and the example of many other Maryknoll priests that I met in the East Africa region.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there was a definite invitation. Even before that significant time of confirmation, did you have a some sort of maybe call or even thinking about serving in the church before that?
Oh, yes, I recall visiting with my uncles. I come from a family of people who were really involved in the church. On my maternal cousins and my uncle John, they're very involved in the church. And I remember visiting with them and participating in their services and feeling called to be part of the ministry, to help by speaking about the Word of God and sharing my faith. I remember those moments when I would go on the stage to share what they would say a testimony, and I recall stirrings in my heart, feeling I would like to be a minister, to say something with my life, with my words about the goodness of God.
That's just beautiful, John. It seems like the example of your family. And did you say your uncle's name is named John? Were
Yes.
you named after your uncle?
Uh, I don't know how it came to be. Yeah, my uncle and I have the same name. But I remember back at home, I was baptized years after I was born, and I remember when. This is another story. I remember just before baptism, my mother asked us, my sister and myself, my two sisters and myself, what name would you like for your baptism? And I chose John. Later on, my mother didn't explain to me something else, but later on after baptism, she sat us down and said, back at home, John is not the name they use in my family. We use another name for me, like everyone at home. We have all, the familiar names. And she sat us down and she told me that she was moved that I chose the name John, because when I was, I think about maybe a year old, I fell sick, and my mother thought that this was it. I was going to die and all that. So they called a priest, and the priest gave me, prayed over me, and I was baptized. And when they asked for a name, they chose the name John, but no one told me about that. No one told me about that. Well, I lived.
Wow.
I became well, and when the occasion of being accepted into the church, they asked me, what name would you like? And without being told that I had been given the name John earlier on, when it was felt that I was not going to live, I chose the name John. And so it happens to be the name John is my uncle my uncle's name too.
Wow, that just gives me goosebumps. That's quite a story. That's it just seems like you have really had that closeness. And so when you were thinking about at 13 during your confirmation, how soon was it that you started? Did you even approach anybody with the Maryknoll priests and the missionaries about your interest, or?
No. Where I come from, it's about 8 hours from the capital. So the Maryknoll fathers and brothers that I first had contact with were in the big city, in the capital, in Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not until I was 20 years old that I met the first Maryknoll priest. I spoke about my desire for the priesthood with a chaplain in my high school, and he told me, "Come on, John, go to school, study, go to university, and then come talk to me about the priesthood." So I did that, and I went to the university, and lo and behold, I found another chaplain, and I spoke to him about my desire to be a priest. And the first thing he asked me was, "Have you spoken with your mother?" That's another thing that really moved me. I know a Maryknoll priest, the Maryknoll priest, the people who minister in a culture that is not their own. This is an American priest who knows my culture so well that the first question he asks me is whether I've spoken with my parents when I share with him my desire to become a priest.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. You know, I want to continue with this story, John, but right now it's time. Can you just imagine? It's time for a break. So we're going to go on a short break, right? And then we'll continue with this story. We'll be back.
All right, sure, sister. I'll be right.
A stranger and a pilgrim in this world. Sometimes I wonder what this journey will bring, and you guide me faithfully to find a home in you. Here I am, did I hear you call my name?
Do you have an old bicycle that's not being used? Consider donating it to Catholic Charities Veterans Bike Project of Lake County. Skilled volunteers are refurbishing bicycles to make them safe and ready to be used by veterans to get to and from their new places of work. We also gratefully accept financial contributions that are used to purchase bike helmets and other safety accessories. Our veterans have faithfully served the United States, and now it is our privilege to serve them. For more information on the Veterans Bike Project of Lake County, call 847-782-4219. That's 847-782-4219.
Catholic education offers something other schools don't. When you walk through that door, you are amongst friends.
I can confidently say that I look up to everybody at HT, staff, students. There's just something that you can admire in every person here.
We treat everyone here with the same kind of respect that we would hope that exists in our families. Our curriculum is very rigorous, and we hope to match the academic rigor with our level of academic support.
They help us prepare for college. They talk to us about our future and what we want to do. I think it instills a sense of community, which makes me more confident in my work.
Through the teachers, through our counselors, through all of our administrators, we are educating not just the mind, but also the heart. I think that distinguishes us from other types of schools.
Catholic high schools provide high-quality, faith-based education. The journey begins by taking your entrance exam. Register online at the Catholic high school you wish to attend.
Ancestry and genealogy are more important every day. People all over the world are wanting to learn more about their family heritage for personal and for health reasons. At Catholic Charities, we are hearing from adults who lived for a brief time at St. Vincent's Orphanage, the wonderful, life-affirming agency that operated out of our headquarters for 91 years, serving thousands of women, children, and families until it closed in 1972. Our post-adoption services help adults who want to learn more about their experience at St. Vincent's. Our compassionate staff members provide whatever family background information they can offer, along with support and reunion services. To learn more, call 312-655-7093. That's 312-655-7093. The spirit of St. Vincent's lives on in the inspiring stories that continue to emerge today.
As you will, speak, my God, I am ready to begin. Here I am, I come to follow you.
My heart sings of the love that I found in you.
And we are back to Dare to Love. This is Sister Lavina Pamet. I am here with John Siyumbu from the Maryknoll Brothers and Fathers. And right now he is at CTU and on video conference. And by the way, not just on over the radio waves, but this is being recorded so that it will be shown on YouTube as well from the Catholic Chicago channel. And if you want to spread the word, people just have to go to YouTube, and they can even just type in "Dare to Love Catholic Chicago" or just "Dare to Love." I think that's pretty unique, and they will find it on YouTube. So, and this is on every first Thursday of the month at 8 a.m. So, John, you were talking about your journey back in Kenya, and I just need to mention to you that over Thanksgiving, I met a person. Her name is Janet, and she comes from Kenya, from the Luo tribe. So
That's good.
Yeah, what tribe are you coming from?
Okay, it's the Luya.
So that's a different one, or is it?
That's a different one. We live close by. My sister is married among the Luo. So, in a general way of speaking, if I were at home, I'd say, your friend Janet, is my in-law.
Oh, that's wonderful. So are you anywhere near Lake Victoria, your family, your village?
Yeah, we're 5 hours from the lake. My sister is really close to the lake,
Yes.
maybe about 15 minutes from the lake or something.
Yeah. And it was so interesting how, I have that missionary heart as well. And I'm originally coming from the Philippines, by the way. We really haven't, you and I, we really haven't talked, but oh my gosh, all the stories that we could talk about, right? And I have a lot of people have so much to learn about the African continent. Like, first of all, like if we think of Egyptians, for example, it's like we forget, it's from Africa. Saint Augustine of Hippo is from Africa. So now, like if you're talking about Kenya and Nairobi, it's sort of like talking about, like we're in Chicago, in Illinois, internationally, Illinois might not be as popular, but you say Chicago and people know about that, right? So, pretty much. I mean, you can make comparisons in terms of the states as sort of like, like Kenya is one country in East Africa. So I am, again, as you said, we were talking about learning languages, especially for you, Spanish. And so you said, poco a poco, little by little, you start learning more and more. And being a missionary, that's pretty much the Maryknoll way of being. So let's continue your story. So before the break, you were talking about you approached one of your chaplains, and he mentioned, have you talked to your parents? So what was your answer? Have you talked to your parents at that point?
I did not remember that I had spoken to my mother years ago that I wanted to be a priest. So when Father Lance, my chaplain, suggested that I speak with my mother, I did what any young man would do, I called my mother at home. So, and I said, Mama, I would like to be a priest. And then my mother gave me one of the surprises that will always stay with me for the rest of my life. She told me, I remember you told me that. I had forgotten that I told her. I did not know that she remembered all that. And she told me, I remember you told me that during your confirmation. Okay? And she told me that I would like you to be happy, just like I've raised you, my kids. Like all through school, back at home, usually parents, back at home, education is really important. Parents would sacrifice a lot so that their kids can go to school. Not just my own parents, but it's a common occurrence. And mostly parents would say, I'd like you to be a doctor, I'd like you to be a lawyer, I'd like you to be a nurse. My mother used to tell us, you choose the subjects you'd like to do in school because I want you to be happy. So that's what she told me on the phone. She said, she repeated, I want you to be happy and I want you to serve God. It'll be a blessing for me if you're happy as a servant of God. And I promise you all my support. With my father, it was a little bit straightforward. He told me, when I went back home, I spoke with my father face to face when I went back home after, the semester. And he told me, okay, now if this is what you'd like to do, you choose the way, look forward and don't look behind. Go forward, choose it, be sure that this is what you'd like to do, and then move forward.
That's wonderful. So now you've got to support your family. Then
Yeah.
what was the next step? What were there was a hurdle though, right? Because Maryknoll wasn't receiving international members at the time.
That's right. So after Fadlan told me about calling my parents, next time I spoke with him, he told me, well, John, we do not receive, Maryknoll does not accept people who are not U.S. citizens or people who have legal status in the United States. And I said, I know, Father. I have read it on the Maryknoll website. I've seen that. But I would still like to join Maryknoll because I've seen the MM on your door, on your office door. I did not know that Maryknoll missionaries, MM stands for Maryknoll missionaries. So I checked it out online and I found out it was Maryknoll missionaries. I followed the links. I ended up on the Maryknoll website before I went to speak with Father Lance. So I told Father Lance, I know that, but I would still like to join Maryknoll. And then Father Lance said, he suggested another congregation, and he suggested, I see Jesuit, maybe Jesuit written all over your face. And I said, I would like, in my heart, I wanted to join Maryknoll because of the example of Father Lance in my campus, in my university life, at Kenyatta University. It's easy to believe in Jesus Christ when you see someone who tries to live the faith, who puts the faith in action the way Father Lance does. It's so easy to believe in Jesus Christ when you have someone like that in your life. And I wanted to join Maryknoll based on the example of the priesthood and missionary priesthood that I saw in Father Lance. So he told me, would you like me to speak with my superior? I said, sure. I really wasn't sure what superior meant and all that. I said, yes, if that will help me get into become a Maryknoll missionary, yeah, sure, I'd be happy for you to do that. So he spoke with the regional superior at that time, Father Dave Smith, the Africa regional superior. And for the regional superior spoke with a superior general in New York. And it was agreed that we could start an experiment. I could become an experiment.
So you were the guinea pig. You were the first one. So you changed the entire, what would you call that? I guess their rule.
Yeah, God's ways are really something that open a lot of avenues for us.
Mm-hmm. And now, look, just last month, you not only did you find your way in the United States, and I think there were some challenges along the way because it didn't quite work out, right? According to the narrative that I heard from Greg, he was saying that they tried it out and then it didn't work and then it worked again, and now you are actually here, so close. How long
That's
before
right.
you get ordained as a priest?
God willing, 8 months.
In 8 months. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So including this month, it's like the 9-month gestation before babies are born. Did you think of that?
Amen. Oh, you just made me think about that, sister. I appreciate that image. I'll use it in my prayers. Thank
There
you.
you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so wonderful. And now you're here and with the formation, and the other thing that you're learning, because you speak English, and then and I think that's part of what you learn in school in Kenya, right? And then you speak the Luya language, or
That's right. That's
okay,
right.
is that
You got it, sister. You got
anything
it.
close to, I can't remember that other language, the Kenyans,
Lu
but
or
the
Kiswahili.
Swahili, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's right.
so and there are
Yeah.
different versions, right,
Yes,
of
that's right.
Swahili, but there's sort of like a standardized thing that's
That's
spoken
right.
pretty much in Nairobi, and then the different villages and tribes kind of have their own version. Plus, what else? Other than and then in Spanish, right?
That's right. Yeah, the
Yeah.
four
And
languages.
anything else that you speak, or
No, right now I don't speak Dothraki. If you're asking me.
okay. And you don't have to learn Latin or anything like that, right?
Latin is part of the philosophy program, so
Oh, okay.
yes, no, I don't speak Latin.
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to read a basic text in Latin and understand, something that is being spoken about in the text.
Yeah. Well, I'm aware of the time. We're coming to a close, but we have maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes max. What is your message to young people out there who are feeling the call from God to pursue a life which is an option to live as a religious, and maybe a missionary religious, maybe even a Maryknoll religious?
Yeah, yeah.
What would you say to them?
What I'm learning from my vocation story, Maryknoll's decision to accept me finally after years of consideration. I would share with my friends in the Lord who are considering to serve the Lord that docility in the hands of God is important in finding what God's will is in your life. Be docile in the hands of God, and the hands of God are the people around you. Tell them, I would like to be a sister. I would like to be a nun. Tell them, I would like to be a priest. Tell them, I would like to join Maryknoll. Tell them that. And listen to how God speaks to you through the people around you. Because as Pope Francis says, you will experience the greatest joy, the deepest joy, when you give yourself.
And that's the key, isn't it? Your mother said, I want you to be happy. I want you to pursue and respond to that which will make you happy and give you joy that God is calling you to. That's the key, is to have that fullness of life. Because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about it. And yet, you're happy. And you have changed the world in just how you witness to it, how you're living it. I'm just so proud of you. Yeah. Best wishes to you in that 8 or so months. And then we'll soon probably have you back. I don't know, probably after your ordination. We'll see. So how did it go, right? And then
Amen,
where
sister.
you're going to be missioned. How exciting.
Thank you, sister. Thank you for the
Yeah.
program, and thank you for your work. May God bless the work of your hands.
Right. And then for to go to to visit their website, I believe you just pretty much go to maryknoll.com. It's going to be on this recorded tape when it gets to be shown on YouTube. the Maryknoll websites and the links, I believe, to your ordination to the traditional diaconate is going to be on there. We'll make sure we'll include that. In the meantime, thank you so much for being on this show. God bless everybody, and don't be afraid to respond to that call.